I turned 30. And I flipped out. I realized I had spent my entire life in Ohio. I took it really, really hard. And the people said to me then, and they still say to me now, age is just a number. All right, fine. Then your weight is just a number. Your height is just a number. Your credit score is just a number. Your cholesterol is a number. Your blood pressure, those are just numbers, right? But numbers have value, which implies they have meaning. They mean something. Like, doesn't it already feel like this year has moved so fast? It's shorter than any year so far, right? Well, there's some math to that. I'm gonna break it down, all right? My son, I have a son, by the way. My son is turning 2 years old. I know. He's turning 2 years old, so this next year of his life is 50% of it, right? 1/2, 50% of his life, it's gonna feel really long to him. This next year, I'm almost 50. I know, black don't crack, brown don't frown, that's what I'm saying. So this next year is 2% of my life. So to me, it's gonna feel really short, to him, it's gonna feel really long. And the only reason I tell you that is to depress the hell out of everyone in the room. No, I say it because I want people to stop saying age is just a number. It's crap. In fact, toilet paper is a very good analogy, in fact, because when you sit down and check to see how much toilet paper is left, hopefully in the reverse order, you check, and then you sit down. When you think half of the roll is left, there's actually less than half left because of the way that circumference works. Think about it, right? There's more on the outside than there is on the inside, like people in LA. So my analogy is that life is like toilet paper. The less that's left, the faster it goes. I'm not sure when this turned into a TED Talk. But that's okay. I turned 30, I flipped out, and I moved to California, moved to Los Angeles, specifically to be a full-time comedian and an actor. I am an actor. Although you haven't, yeah, sure, no, thank you. You haven't seen me in anything, so I'm like an auditioner. Actually booked a very weird role recently. On Netflix, there's a show called Indian Matchmaking. Some of you will know this show, and not only the brown people, a lot of people know this show, they're watching it. They now have Jewish matchmaking, they're expanding it into a franchise. And if you don't know the show, or even if you do, it's about Indian matchmaking. It's a very coy title. So I actually do the audio description for the show. Some of you will not know what that is. I will explain. If you go in Netflix into settings and turn on audio description, I know it's hard to say, Mom, I made it, when you have to tell them to go into the settings. But it's for the seeing impaired. It helps them hear what's going on. You narrate the show. It's really kind of a crazy thing. It's kind of cool to be able to do this. I don't know. It's the role that I was able to book. But that show cracks me up. Indian matchmaking cracks me up. If you've seen it, or even if you haven't, the star of the show is someone named Seema Auntie. And what her job is to connect South Asians together romantically, and she is right about 0% of the time. That's a strange premise for a show. It'd be like turning on SportsCenter. Here's all the shots Steph Curry missed last night. I don't want to see that. I want to see my boy traded from 10 feet behind the three-point line. It's crazy. But she'll say that stuff. She'll criticize, especially the women. She's a little sexist. Seema Auntie. She will say to the women, "Mia beti, you have too many criterias." She takes this word criteria and she makes it even more plural. To show you how single you are. It's true that she'll say to them, she'll go, "You know, you get 60, 70% of what you're looking for, it's okay." Really, Auntie? When's the last time I could bring home a 60, 70% on a math test? Speaking of the Chinese, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky was grilling then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton on Capitol Hill about the Benghazi hearings. That's a lot of proper nouns and prepositions. But you remember this, right? Republicans were giving Hillary a lot of hell about the confirmation process and all that. And he brought up our tour. He goes, you guys spent $100,000 sending 3 comedians to India. That was our tour! Because of that crazy Republican in Kentucky, we're part of the congressional record. Except in our moment of glory, he called it Make Chi Not War, which would have been Chinese. Now, this part of it did not make it into the congressional record. I will say right now that one of the great improvements in India is the bathroom situation. It's way better, okay? I remember going with my parents in 1985, and they had the squat toilets. All right, people ask why we do yoga. They're like, is it tied into meditation, an inner peace? I'm like, no. Not inner peace, outer pieces, okay? We're trying not to fall in the toilet. Too bad my son's not here, he'd love that joke, okay. We're on our way from Kolkata to Durgapur. And you know it's a true story because I cannot pronounce Durgapur. I would have picked another city. But we were on our way from Kolkata to Durgapur in this 3-hour ride in this red van. We're late per usual, and I really have to go to the bathroom. So we're almost there. I'm like, I cannot hold it anymore. I'm shifting in my seat. I'm not even shifting in my seat. I'm full-on Punjabi dancing. You know, like I just cannot even, like that's where our dancing comes from too. I just cannot hold it in at all. Like I'm dying. They pull over the van to this line of shops and stores, and I get out. And I have to go to the bathroom so badly, I can now speak Hindi. Because I don't speak Hindi. And I was always ashamed of the fact that I don't speak Hindi, but it's because I was born in this country before 1984. That's my theory. The mantra at the time was assimilation. If you're born in this country before 84, you probably don't speak your native tongue. Now, after this, you ask the kids these days, they speak Rajasthani and Punjabi and Gujarati, and that's just the Tamil kids. They're really smart. But I walked up and I asked this guy, I was like, washroom kahan hai? Washroom kahan hai? You may know this about South Asia. Nobody's gonna tell you where anything is. I've never had anybody tell me where anything is located. They're just gonna tell you where the next guy is standing. Who's gonna tell you where the next guy is standing? Who's gonna tell you where the next guy is standing? And that's the great thing about having 1.4 billion people. There's always the next guy standing. I get to the end, it's like swinging through the jungle like Tarzan on vines, and they keep appearing. This is why South Asians are so good at the internet. Before it launched, this was our network, okay? We're getting all the way to the end, and I see this guy standing there. I'm like, washroom kahan hai? He points at a sign. This time, it does not read man. It does not read men. It reads gents. 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 For gentlemen. I think this is gonna be a nice bathroom. I open up the door and it takes me right back outside again. It's just a hole. It's literally the whole bathroom. It is a hole in the ground. Never in my life have I felt more like a gentleman, by the way. Cars are whizzing by, I'm whizzing into a hole. At least they could give me a top hat and a cane, I could feel like a gentleman. I go in to complain, I'm like, there's a hole in the toilet. He goes, that is the toilet. The other place I feel totally stupid is in the post office. You hardly ever go to the post office anymore. So when you walk in, it feels like this foreign land, right? I walk in there, I'm standing there with my letter, and I'm like, what the hell is going on at the US Postal Service? No wonder the government can't keep track of these documents. Metered mail, stamped mail. What the hell is metered mail? This has a stamp on it. Does that mean? Because once I drop it in there, it's all over. "16 ounces or less." Should that be fewer? How much is 16 ounces? I'm not standing in that line. I know I drink 12 ounces of beer. Is that the same? That's fluid ounces, right? I knew I should have smoked pot instead. Yeah, bro, that's an ounce. Sometimes I wish I would have smoked pot, because I think I would have been one of those one-liner stoner comedians. Because those one-liner stoner comics crack me up. I love that stuff. Especially when they say things like, shoot for the moon. That way, if you miss, at least you'll land amongst the stars. Whenever people say that to me, I think, wow, this person does not understand astronomy. I'm thinking about getting one of those Jesus is my co-pilot bumper stickers, just so I can use the carpool lane. If you're a smartass, do you have a wisecrack? You know, my Buddhist friend sends me emails with please see detached. I went to an Amish wedding and they all did the acoustic slide. The other day I was on a Zoom and everybody put their names and pronouns like he, him, and she, her. I changed my entire name to Michael Jackson. Just so I could be. I just found out that was a meme. I'm like, I don't know if I should be proud or ashamed. I don't know. I loved Michael Jackson, man. I grew up on Michael Jackson. Yes. It wasn't just the little boys. He touched us all. And so I was telling you about how I moved from Cincinnati to LA. That whole thing was a tangent because I'm a tangent. 2006. I moved to Los Angeles and I am single because I'm a professional comedian. Ain't nobody dating you in this town. If you're broke, man, it's tough. In LA, dating is hard. You hear that all the time. And then people will tell you from other cities, like, dude, dating is hard everywhere. No, LA is a special kind of dating hell. And I'll tell you why. It's because everybody's selling and nobody is buying. There's a surplus of everything. You go to a party, everybody's looking for someone better to talk to. The guy right in front of you is like, subscribe to my newsletter, listen to my podcast, come to my show, and that's just me. I ended up getting really good at talking to women at bars. I spent a lot of time talking to women at bars, and all my male friends, all my man friends are always like, why are you always talking to women at bars? I go, because they're my height. The thing, all my guy friends are 6 feet tall. I got tired of doing this all the time. I wake up the next morning with a crick in my neck. And all these people are like, what, did you get some action last night? Did you go down on a girl? I'm like, no, I went up on a guy. I actually went on to date every race of woman, and I think that's important to do in America, because this is the United States. It's diverse, it's the home of McDonald's, Happy Meals, collect the whole set. Get out there and date, man. You could do that here because that is unique about America. It's true. There are over 200 countries. Most of them have no diverse cities at all. None. And some of them have one. France has Paris. Some of them have two. Spain has Madrid and Barcelona. The United States has like 10 of them. LA and San Francisco and Miami and New York and Cincinnati, Ohio. Get out there and date, man. Sample, that's the thing. That's what you should do. Because I told a friend of mine that. I go, that is my pet peeve. I don't like areas of land that have all one kind of people. And he goes, so you hate countries? I'm like, that's right. I hate countries and I love mixed people. I love mixed people because they're so hot. It's true, right? And a friend of mine tried to get in on that recently. She goes, oh, I'm mixed. My mom's from Pakistan. My dad's from India. That's not mixed. That's just the British getting pissed off and dividing our country in parts. Can't use that to book more commercials. Can't be like, oh, my mom's from Vermont, my dad's from New Hampshire, I'm mixed. No, you're super white. That's not a thing. But some of my friends are very specific and very particular about the kind of women they say they date. They say they date only black women, they date only brown women, they date only white women. To me, ladies, you're all beautiful. I mean, the pretty ones. Well, some people say that's mean. I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm kidding. Second of all, I don't make the rules. No, I'm not a chauvinist, but when I go to strip clubs, I don't give the girls dollar bills. I toss them Susan B. Anthony coins for the irony. I actually met my wife on OkCupid. And she is from Austin, Texas. I was in Los Angeles, California. So people want to know, well, then how is that possible? How was she in Texas? You're in California. How'd you guys meet? Well, you might know that you can go into the settings. It's amazing how much my life is dictated by settings. And change the radius of people who are looking for you. It's true. Tip in case you need to know it. 5 miles, 25 miles, 250 miles, desperate. Mine was set to desperate. I was almost 40 and age is not just a number, all right? I was like, let's go. And I'm so proud to tell you that we brought our first child into the world. His name is Naveen. And in Hindi, that means new. So I guess we're gonna have to rename him every year. But it was the only name on which Harsha and I agreed. Because it's hard. Indian male names are hard. Indian male names are like penises. I really only like my own. So Naveen was born in Los Angeles. Well, he was reborn in Los Angeles. And he was born in the year 2021, which makes him a COVID baby. The great thing about having a COVID baby is you know it's yours. Although we had a lot of Amazon deliveries, so who knows? What can Brown do for you? Maybe we found out. I don't know. Because this was during the pandy. The Peej, the pandy, I love my abbreviations. During the pandy, we did our birth classes online. And because we were in there with a bunch of other parents, we learned how stupid the questions are. And it makes you worry about the future of this country. Or the present, because these people are already here having kids. Okay? Somebody asked, they were like, look, this was during the pandemic, okay? So you were allowed only one visitor in the room. Everybody got it? One visitor in the room. It's during the pandemic. They have to be safe. It's California, all that stuff. One visitor in the room. So then people started asking, well, can anyone else come in? No, one person. It kind of helped us out because all 4 grandparents came to stay with us for a short Indian visit of 3 months. A friend of mine asked me, he goes, are you coming to the point where you're ready for them to leave? I'm like, no, don't say that. We're well past that point. 4 grandparents, 3 months, you do the math. I'm Indian, I'll do the math, okay? And the reason is, because I'm Indian, we can't ask them to leave. We're not white. Then my friend Rob, over in Indiana, he was like, his mother-in-law came to stay for a long white visit of 5 days. On Sunday, it snows. And she goes, maybe I'll fly out on Monday. He goes, you're leaving today. I don't care if I have to shovel the runway. You're going. Try saying that to an Indian mother-in-law and see how long you live. So it kind of helped me out because God forbid they'd allow 2 visitors in the room. Which grandparent was going to go? That was a reality show I did not want to watch. I'm the dad, Amazon deliveries notwithstanding. And so I'm going in. And then people are mad. They're pissed off because their grandparents came to town and they wanted to come in. And so they type and they yell into the computer and they're just like, oh, well, does the doctor count as a visitor? No, the doctor doesn't count. She's at work. She's not just hanging out with us. Do the nurses count? Any nurses here? Any Filipinos or Malayalis? Okay. That's the thing, though. Like, no, of course, they're at work. So just be a smartass. I type in, does the baby count as a visitor? Could you imagine that bit? Naveen pops out. Sorry, buddy, you gotta go. One at a time. Oh my gosh. And then somebody asked a question that I will never get over as long as I live. This guy goes, when do we use the for? Like, what? When do we use the for? And we're as confused as you are right now. When do we use the for? And we finally catch up in the materials and we realize he means, when do we use the IV? Who defaults to Roman numerals? The guy who names the Super Bowls? Like, well, what are you doing? Eventually, we found out that Naveen's blood type is B positive, and as Asian parents, that's the last B plus we let him get. But in this day and age of modern technology, it was great seeing the child develop in the womb. That's a really cool thing, because of tech, you get to actually see the child develop. You see the little fingers, little toes, you see the head, you see that spine. It's great when you see that spine, because you know he's not going to be a Republican. Oh, he sleeps a lot too, so he's like Joe Biden. Okay, all right, I could be bipartisan. I'll leave you with this. I do sometimes worry about the world in which Naveen will live. I don't know where he's going to get his information. I feel lost all the time. Where do you get your news? How do you find it? I'm ashamed to admit that I get it from the Brits. All right, from British news. I definitely read and watch British news, like the BBC, The Guardian, The Economist, because I told you, we believe anything in that accent. And the thing is, the reality of it is, I don't feel that bad going outside to find out what's going on inside, because it's like when my wife and I go to a party. We're standing around in a circle. You ever do this with your spouse, and a stranger asks your spouse a question? Somebody will ask my wife a question, and whatever my wife says is something I've never heard her say before. I'm like, is that what's going on with her? Who knew? I think the reality is Barack Obama wanted to believe that we live in a post-racial world, right? And the thing is, I listen to Obama a lot because he's half black and half white. I'm neither black nor white. We have that in common. But remember, he would always use that phrase, let me be clear. He'd say that all the time. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. Let me be clear. And after all these years, I finally figured out what he meant. I think in this racial world, he's just tired of being a color. Like, dear Lord, I don't want to be black. I don't want to be white. Let me be clear. And I got to clear out. You guys have been a lot of fun. Oh, my God.